Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. I'm your host, Adam Torres, and today on this special segment of Onward and Upward, we're bringing back ML Bruin. And let me tell you, we got some news this month. I've been waiting for this for a long time, and the day is finally here. So, for those of you at home, you're not going to be able to see this per se, but I got to tell you, ML Bruin has just come out with his next book. It's out, it's live. We're going to get into that today and more. But first thing first, just got to say, ML, welcome back. Noah's Christmas Wish is live.
It is live. Thanks, Adam. Great to be here as always. Looking forward to this.
All right, so let's just dive right into this book. I'm really excited about this book. So, for some context for everybody that's been listening to this series for a while, Onward and Upward, each and every month, ML Bruin comes on and we talk about writing, we talk about authorship, we talk about his catalog. And if you go and listen to some of the previous interviews, you'll pick up things like his process. But since I've been doing this segment with ML, this is the first time that I've been present for an actual book launch. So I feel like it's a historic moment. Noah's Christmas Wish. ML, where do you want to start with teeing this one up? What was the inspiration behind this one?
The inspiration behind this one is kind of interesting. And by the way, thanks for the intro. The book is officially released. It's available everywhere. How this started, the idea for this really is about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, my wife said, you need a Christmas book. You ought to think about a Christmas book. And so I've had that in the back of my mind, and I've played around with some ideas. And then just after that, a few months after that, our youngest and her husband said, it'd be really neat if you had a Christmas book. So the last year plus, I've been thinking hard about ideas. And I think we talked about this in the past where sometimes ideas just come to me. I won't even be thinking about it. And that's what happened here about a year ago or so. The idea came for this book, which is the fourth in the Noah series. So really happy with this one. Really,
All
really
right,
pleased.
so first thing, I kind of want to start at the beginning on this one because I think I haven't seen one in person yet, but I do have one on its way from Amazon, so I might have to revisit that on the
Great.
next
Thank you.
in the next conversation we have. But the cover, I see the little boy on there, I see the snowman, the tree, and the graphics amazing as always. What went into creating this?
Well, he lives down by the ocean, and you see a shark. You'll see his shark friend on the cover. The shark is from the first book in the series, actually. It's called Noah and the Shark. But my intention was to have the shark appear in bits and pieces and places a couple times throughout each book. And it's fun for the kids when they read them or at the book signings, they'll find the shark. So on this cover, it was
I'm not
simply,
gonna lie, it was fun for me too when I looked
I
at the
like it.
cover and I'm looking next to it's behind the
Yeah,
W on the left.
that's
Spoiler.
right. Yeah,
Go ahead,
exactly.
continue. You said
No,
for the kids, I enjoyed looking for it's like a little
that's
Easter
good.
egg.
That's
Go
good
ahead.
feedback. I like it, Adam. Yeah, I like it. So this is the scene from his backyard, typically, where he goes down throughout the year and watches the wildlife and sits on the dock. So we thought it'd be a nice touch to show his Christmas wish. And I'll touch on the theme a little bit after,
Mhm.
but you can see the wish kind of floating magically in the air. And he's out there with the snowman, shark in the background, Christmas tree, and the boats that sail by, which we see them here on the ocean where we live in the around Christmas time are all decorated. And then of course the animals, he likes animals, and a lot of these kids that like the books love the animals. So on the front page is opposite the snowman is a little squirrel holding a football, which is Noah's favorite sport actually. So I throw things like
Is that
that
the
in there.
Queen Mary like in the back too, the little
Well, it
ship?
could
Or
be, couldn't it? Yeah, could be, couldn't it?
I'm sensing a sponsor, Queen Mary. No, go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So that's how the cover came about. We wanted it outside. We want it looking a little bit magically and very colorful. And you can see all the illustrations, fantastically vibrant and colorful. The illustrator did a really good job
Mm.
and with the expression of the characters. So that's kind of how the cover came. And what happens, I don't know about you when you write books, Adam, but I write the book and then we do the illustrations. The illustrator does. That's a long process. We can talk about
Hmm.
that later. But at the very end is the cover. And after the book, it kind of comes to me what I want to see on the cover.
Mm.
And they really nailed it. They really nailed this cover. The
Mm.
comments we got so far is that this is an amazing cover. So pretty
I
happy
love it.
with
It
that.
pops. It pops on
It
Amazon.
pops.
I'm like, if everybody
Thank you.
listening, I mean, you can grab it on Amazon. Pretty easy to do. Have that, and it's Christmas in August, man. I love it. We
Exactly
record
right.
it for everybody listening. We record this August 19th, so I feel like this is going to be under a lot of trees, man. Christmas in August. I'm in.
Well, this is good because we're now lining up the book signings end of the
How
summer
does
and
that
into the
piece
fall.
get into the business part of that for a moment for me, if
Okay.
you will? What is so now you have, again, this is the first time that I've ever been part of, I consider myself part of the media side of helping to promote the book. So I've ever been a part of your particular book launch. So you got the book out, it's on Amazon, all that piece of it's done. Like what's next? What happens for you next on the business side of things and promoting?
Okay. So we get scheduled several readings different places, libraries, and my agent sets up the bookstore signings, the big houses that you know of. And
Hmm.
we're also in some independent stores. And the ones that are interested contact us and set up a date for to come in and do a book signing. And usually it's a reading. We have a table there. We do a book reading for the kids and just pretty interactive. We have a couple things for the kids to do and look at
Mm.
and
How fun is that? I
sign.
mean, I've never
It's
done, obviously, I've never, no, I
yeah,
shouldn't say obviously, but for every listener, I've written many books. I've done a lot of different signing things like that, but none of them are for that genre. Like, I've never written a
yeah.
children's book. So, what's it like getting out there with the little ones doing a reading? They must love it.
It's really, really cool to see how they're so intent and they pay so good attention and throughout the book because I try to keep it informal and say I tell them a little bit about the book myself and the books and what the book is about and then throughout the whole book they'll be raising their hands asking a question. So I say if you have a question during the book you can ask and they have the best question but they're so intent. They listen really well. They ask questions. They're really fascinated by it all. And it's really cool for them.
Give me an
Most,
example of one. Like, what's a cute one that a little guy or gal asked you? Like something where you're just like, man, what did
well,
this little
a,
smarty?
a lot of them say things like, I like sharks too. I have a
Oh,
brother named Noah, or I like football too, or that's what I did one time. So it's just,
you must die, huh?
it is, yeah, it's a riot. What they like the best, Adam, and I call him my prop, but Noah loves to come to the book readings with us and he likes to sit no matter where we are. If it's a big house or indie bookstore, he sits right on my lap. And so the kids can see the book and the picture and then they see Noah. To them it's almost like it's almost like a magical thing for them if you know what I'm trying to say and they love
It's
it.
not almost like a
It's
magical thing.
really
It's absolutely
yeah.
magic. They're meeting Noah. Like
S-
that's gotta be, and he must love it too. That's insane.
he does. He gets kind of shy at first, but he thinks it's really neat. And yeah,
Does he
but the
sign them?
kids love it. No, but you know what?
You gotta
You
have him
always
sign them. You gotta have him sign them. Like he'll
wow.
love it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a
You know what?
signing. Yeah.
You always have a good nugget for me, Adam. Every time we talk, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you gotta have him
Fascinating
sign them.
idea.
It'll be absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. He'll
Kids
love
would
it.
love it. You're right, because they love to meet Noah and to see him there. Because they did such a good job in the illustrations. Because actually, I shared a picture initially and I said, I need the character to look as close to this as you can. Of course, I had permission from his parents and whatnot when he was younger. And I tell you, they really nail it
I
in terms
love
of the
it. I
likeness.
love
So,
it. And
yeah,
I'll tell you a
it's
quick book signing story, a little diversion here, ML. So I mean,
sure.
as you're aware, and my long-term listeners know, so we publish books too. We publish a lot of books. So anyway,
Hmm.
that aside, the most interesting thing, why I asked you that question and where it came up from is one of my favorite things to do. So one of the series that we publish outside of doing other books, whatever, it's like think of it like a chicken soup for the soul, but it's actually towards for business owners and like for
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs. So think of it as an anthology, which for those that don't know what that is, just think of it as a group of authors. They all come together, they put together a chapter together. And so what we do is we've been doing that now for, I don't know, let's call it 10 years. We've published over 400 authors in our anthology series. So it's a best
Wow,
selling series, all that stuff. It's not as big as Chicken Soup for the Soul, but I mean, it's kind of based off the same model. So my
cool.
favorite part about doing that series from the beginning, and one of the reasons why I still do it is because when you see I don't care who they are. They could be a CEO of a big company, successful. I mean, many of our authors are far exceed my current level of success, just FYI. Like these are really tenured people in their field, blah, blah, blah. Like they've done some amazing things. So, but even those people, when you see them, many times this is their first or only book, like first time being published or only book they've published or will publish. When you see them sign the first book, they turn into like a Noah. like a little kid again. Like the
Wow.
smile on their face, it's
Mm.
absolutely magic. And I just sit back and I try to just be in the background as much as possible. I want this to be their event. I don't want to like,
Right.
you know what I mean, overshadow or
Yeah.
anything. Like I try to
Nice.
put myself in the background so that they can have all the shine and and all the attention's on them. But
Hmm.
I just sit back and watch and you see them signing. And the first time somebody asks them, they're kind of almost like shy, like me. It's almost like validation for their work, like as in business and stuff, even though they already have the validation of money, success, all blah, 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 all those things, right? These are real people, CEOs, other things like that.
Exactly.
So, but it's like almost like a validation is like, it's a different level when they sign their first book. And then they're like, me? Oh, like serious? Oh, okay.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
just this hesitation. And man, to me, it's like I'm a proud papa of all of these, they're all older than me, by the way, like 99%. Proud papa of all these adult CEO men and women who are many far successful than myself. Isn't that funny?
Awesome. That is really cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
So for Noah, man, he will remember that the rest of his life when he was doing book signings and this and
That's
that. It'll
that's
be
great.
like you will breed an author, guaranteed. There's zero
Nice.
chance he doesn't start writing books one day.
Cool. I like to ask the kids in the crowd, I said, I tell them my plans in the future are to have Noah work with me on the books. And I ask them, would you
Mm.
like that if someone worked with you and you could be involved in the books? And they all think it's pretty neat. So
Oh,
hopefully
I
he
love that.
really continues to enjoy it. Yeah,
That's
because I
cool.
do.
And then another easy idea, just give them some stickers. Here, Noah, pass out these stickers.
That's a great idea because we do have stickers. That's a great
Whatever's
idea. Have him
easiest for
pass
your
it out.
process. Whatever's easiest for your process, because
Very
maybe
good.
he'll be there for 10 hours with all
Yeah,
those
right,
kids.
right.
So you might just do a special edition Noah sticker.
Yeah, that's really good.
Whatever you prefer, whatever's going to move the flow, because signing
That's
books
right.
is not easy.
That's right. Exactly right. That's a great
Uh,
idea. Good
let's get
ideas.
it. So just I don't know. Look, getting back on track. Didn't mean to derail us.
No, that's good.
Let's get into the narrative a little bit. Like we won't give
Okay.
away the whole book. Obviously, we want people to pick up some copies, especially for this the early Christmas gifts. I remember when I was a kid. My parents were picking up gifts for me, and they're hiding it in their closet whenever they found
Oh
something
yeah.
good. So if you're listening to this and you're gonna put it off and be like, "Oh, I got to remember to get one of those for a stocking stuffer to get it later," don't do that. Go to Amazon today, buy it, or wherever, or go to ML's site. He'll leave the website at the end, but go grab it today. Put it in your closet and put it in those stacks of gifts you're going to give to your kids later in the year. So don't hesitate. Go grab that. So
Great idea. That's what my wife does, by the way. I can't even think about it, but she's doing things like that in the summer, getting the
you
Christmas
have
gifts.
to. You have to because
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
forget. You'll
And
forget. Like it's going to be like if you were to
exactly right.
even make a list, you're not going to remember. You're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then what happens is if you don't do that, then it gets closer to Christmas and then you go out to the store and then you buy a bunch of stuff that you didn't even want to get just because you have
Exactly.
to give somebody something and you're like, oh,
Panic
shoot.
shopping. Yeah,
Yeah, panics.
exactly.
And then now you get the stuff that's all like left over and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I do.
grab your book now, nice and fresh, new book smell. Put it in the closet. Give it to him later in December. That could be a tradition. All right, Mel,
Great
getting
idea.
back on topic. Give us a little bit about the narrative in the story.
Okay. I mentioned before, I'm really pleased with it. The message is great. It's a really good, feel good family read, written in the same rhyming pattern. We talked about that. I mean, the illustrations are really bright and it's been well received. We've delivered many copies already. So this book continues the positive messages in the stories in the Noah series, but this book specifically, it focuses on how Noah discovers and he shows that wishes aren't always about toys and stuff and gifts, but love, kindness, and happiness and helping others. So the message is delivered through kind of a Christmas magic feeling, if you will. And you can see on the cover that the wish floats magically. And he makes a wish at Christmas Eve, and it ends up magically floating through town and touching lives and helping people in a positive way. And the illustrations really make the people feel the intention of the story, if you will. They really feel like you're in there and you understand the words and you can feel it, how magic the wish is, how the feel good nature of the book. So I'm really pleased at how the illustrations fit the narrative.
Hmm. And this is for those that maybe haven't caught some of our previous episodes yet. But when you talk about rhyming, when you talk about that, what goes into like creating like page by page? Because we've been through your process a bit, but I'm curious about this book. Were there any challenges when you're kind of like going through your process, everything else? Like, what was it like?
Very much so. Last book was more challenging overall in terms of the message I wanted to deliver, but this, it can still be challenging when you're trying to, each page leads to something in this book. So trying to continue the continuity while at the end of each line, it has to rhyme the next line if it's in the same sentence. So there is a challenge. So for instance, we'll get to a page. Okay, I know what I want to happen and I'll start writing it out.
Mm,
You know, it's a short paragraph. So then it's the challenge is how do I rhyme the last word in each line? And that can take, I think we talked about it before, weeks.
mm,
Sometimes it's obvious, easy. Sometimes it's weeks or I change and tweak a lot. My editing process we talked about, like a lot of
hmm
writers, it's very iterative. So I need to come back and keep editing, changing and changing. So some pages may take one edit, two edits, others will take 15. Or
mm,
I've been known to, less so in this book, but more in the last book, rip out entire pages or pieces because I just didn't like, there wasn't a good flow to it after all. And I just couldn't make the rhyme sound comfortable enough because just imagine that I'm a child listening to the story. And
mm,
if I don't understand or it's too fancy of a word or too big of a complex word, it's not going to fit. I'll just rip it out and go in a slightly different direction. That happens often to me, by the way, with the rhyming. So
mm.
rhyming is quite challenging. It's fun when it's complete, but it's very, very challenging.
What's it like to put yourself into that childlike thought process of like, I feel like in other writing things, like I'm thinking about like the last book I wrote was on podcasting. So I was trying to like my avatar was people that want to start a show or people that wanted to that have a show but haven't been able to monetize it, anything like that. Like, so I wrote that
Mm,
book with those avatars. So I was constantly flipping in my head and thinking about like, how would they, I know my message and what I wanted to say. And so I was saying it, but then I had to like think about, okay, but how will that be received? Because it's for, I'm writing for the audience. I'm not writing it as an exercise of what Adam thinks. I want
right,
an objective. I want them to, well, what's it like? But I've never done that for like, how do I put myself into a child? You know what I mean? Like, how are they going to take
right.
this? Like, what's that like for
Yeah.
you?
First, I write it out trying to make sure it's straightforward and simple. But then, to be honest, if it sounds okay to me, that's when I pull in my wife always. And then
Oh, yeah, you
our
did say that your
oldest,
wife is the,
she's the big helper, as is my oldest daughter is
mm,
a teacher. So she's the final, I usually say, would this make, because she has authors in her class and they read books all the time. And I say,
mm.
would they understand it? And she's very honest about it, says, really good, but no, this, they won't understand what you're saying here. Or it's really confusing, or that's good, or that's not. So she's really the good test
Secret
because
sauce.
real time,
Yeah.
she's the secret sauce into, right, the final pieces of it. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. If
a
there
lot
was
of fun.
one kind of like one, and you gave us a little bit of the obviously the narrative of the story. I want people to pick up a copy, but if there was kind of like one takeaway that you hope, and I'm gonna ask this in a two-part question. Do you hope the parents get out of, this experience of reading this to their children or being part of that? What do you hope the parents get out of that? And what do you hope that the children get out of it?
I hope the parents just enjoy, see this book, and I think it is, as a great evening or family time thing to do because it's feel good and it's a fun read and it captivates the kids when they're reading the book. They'll just stare and listen. So I think it's a good family time book all year round, but especially around the holidays. So it's a good feel good, warm story, and it'll hopefully enhance a little bit of family time.
Fantastic. ML, this has been great having you back on the show, learning more about this new book. Again, congratulations!
Thank you, man.
I
Very
it's
excited.
such an honor. I love it. This is one of my favorite things about getting to do this show and to being a podcaster in general. We get to share these experiences with people. Like I love to be part of your promo and to also talk and to bring this to my audience because I've been a fan of the books you've been putting out for a while, and I'm excited to get this one in the mail too.
I
But that
appreciate
being said,
that.
actually, I might need to get a special Noah signed edition. Hold on, I might have to.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna figure
There
this
you
out.
go.
I want a Noah limited edition sticker. I mean, come on.
Thank you for
Ha,
that. Yes, we do have those too.
that's awesome. How do people connect with the overall Noah brand? How do they follow up? And how do they grab some copies of this book, but not just this book, all of them that you have?
Okay. My website, mlbruin, BRUIN.com, has information about how to buy the books and what I'm working on, etc. Instagram, mlbruin, and Facebook is mlbruin-author. And if you go to my website, the books are available anywhere you buy books. You can go online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can find them in Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, and indie stores. A lot of indie stores. If they don't have it, they can order it because we're in the system. And if you want an autograph copy, like Adam is going to get, you can contact me through my website or on Instagram, and we can sign a book and get that out to you in several different ways. So yes, feel free to contact me.
Amazing. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can click on the links and connect with ML. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me correct. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration. So hit that subscribe or follow button so you don't miss a thing. And that's all for this segment of Onward and Upward. ML, it's been an absolute pleasure. Can't wait till we get to record again.
Talk to you again. Can't wait.